Volcanic Skyway by Big Auto 2 is one of the strangest tracks I've ever played. Strange as in I have no idea what they were going for. Why is this here? Why'd they put that there? What's the point of this? On the track selection menu, Volcanic Skyway has two separate tracks. Why? Because screw you. That's why. They're called Volcanic Skyway with 2 stars and Volcanic Skyway 4. First of all, what are those stars for? I've seen them on a couple tracks like Snowy Circuit, SNES Bowser Castle 2 and 3, Resway GBA Rainbow Road, and this. I had no clue what they meant until I looked at the list of custom tracks. Basically, the stars mean there's a different track under the same name. Why they don't update the tracks instead of making a completely new one is beyond me. Stop cluttering up the library of custom tracks with duplicates and just update them. What, did you not get permission to update the track? That's the only excuse I can think of as to why this happens. Second, Volcanic Skyway 4? What happened to 1, 2, and 3? Did they skip them? Were they so proud of it? Did they just skip straight to 4 because of how awesome it is? Did they think it was going to be that good? At first, I assumed this one was Volcanic Skyway 1, but it turned out to be Volcanic Skyway 2. So what happened to 1 and 3? Did they skip them also? Well, no. Turns out, Volcanic Skyway 2 is an update from version 1, and Volcanic Skyway 4 is an update from version 3, which is its own standalone track from version 2. That's confusing. There's no need to have one Volcanic Skyway with versions 1.0 to 2.3 and another Volcanic Skyway with versions 3.0 to 4.0. Just keep it all on one page. Spare us the confusion and just have it all be one track. And both versions were made by the same creator, Big Auto 2. I could understand if there were 2 different creators with tracks that had the same name, but there is no purpose in one lone creator doing this. You could just say V3.0, remade from scratch. There's no need to make things needlessly convoluted like this. I haven't even started the track yet and I'm already complaining about something. It's ridiculous. When you start up the track, it looks the same as any other boring track made in the early 2010s. Flat and unappealing. Right away, there's this path that leads to a beach. There aren't any arrows indicating where I turn, so I turn right. Oh look, a dead end. Guess I was supposed to go left. A sign that pointed to the left would have helped out. Would it be too much to ask to add one? I know you could just look at the minimap or follow the other players, but this is just stupid. Why is there this chunk of land that you aren't even supposed to go on that's this easily accessible by the player? Why is it included on the minimap too? Hold on, what just happened? Watch as I fall off the edge of the sand. This track is hovering over the water. Oh my god, we're on a floating island. Would it be that hard to lower the track or raise the ocean to make it so that the track isn't floating in midair? So anyway, you turn left and there are a couple obstacles that you can easily avoid by staying at the side and... oh what, now we get arrows that tell us where to turn? At the part where there's only one way to go and not at the part where it looks like you can go right when you're supposed to go left? What were they thinking? Well, there's really 2 ways to go. You could turn left where you're supposed to turn, or straight ahead into the signs. They tried to block out this large chunk of land, but failed. Why is this here anyway? This shouldn't even be included in the track or the minimap. It's pointless. Cut off the beach when we're not supposed to be on it anymore, or put an invisible wall, or a line of tables, or a crowd of beachgoers. Put something there to prevent the player from going somewhere you don't want them to go. Look at this. What? I died by driving on the grass? Let's try that again. Okay, so you mean to tell me this grass is fine, but this grass kills you? That doesn't make any sense. Why not just replace the out of bounds grass with water? There isn't even any difference between the grass that's off-road and the grass that's out of bounds. Here's a cool little idea I got from some other tracks. If the out of bounds areas are made out of the same material as the off-road and they're right next to each other, let the player be able to differentiate them. Wow, what a concept. Have the out of bounds grass be a darker shade of green than the off-road grass. Why even have an out of bounds area here? It's stupid. Put a fence or an invisible wall if you don't want the player to drive too far from the track. Ooh. What happened? All of a sudden we're actually able to drive out here? Oh, okay, whatever. I like exploring tracks. Although, it doesn't look like there's anything to explore other than grass around here. Let's go drive past the skybox, see if anything's hidden behind there. Well, that was disappointing. Now, you travel along this path into a volcano. Oh great, this path has wigglers. My favorite. At least here, the wigglers don't nearly block off the entire path like they did in Alpine Mountain. Thank goodness for that. Now, you enter the volcano and... Hold on, this isn't a volcano, it's a pyramid. Why is it a pyramid? The title says Volcanic Skyway, not Pyramid Skyway. And look at how paper flat the walls are. I get that it's supposed to be hollow so you can drive through it, but couldn't the walls have some sort of depth to make it seem as if it were an actual pyramid or volcano or whatever it's supposed to be? Hold on, just look at this. The walls don't even collide. You can see right through it in the empty void of nothing. Oh my god, look at this! You can drive inside the walls! Wow. Unbelievable. Look at this texture here. It's hideous. I can literally count the pixels on it. Could it be possible to choose an uglier texture? Going up the cannon in the center of the pyramid brings you to the cloud section. What kind of clouds are these? Really, what kind of clouds are these? Why is it textured like this? Are they made of tiles? I swear, this is the exact texture used in Coconut Mall, but it's just a little transparent. Again, the road is paper thin, nothing new. At least with this part, the Skyway part of Volcanic Skyway actually makes sense. Now, you go off a ramp and into the desert section. Nothing much to say here other than it's bad. It looks like every other boring and uninspired desert track. Then you go into this cave and bump right into the roof. Great design you got there. Could they possibly have picked a more pixelated texture for the ground? This would be bad enough on its own, but in the cave, the walls and ceiling use the same texture as the cave in Mushroom Gorge, or at least I'm pretty sure it's the same texture. The ground looks so out of place with these walls. If you're gonna use the same textures from Mushroom Gorge, why not just use the same ground as used in the cave from Mushroom Gorge instead of making everything as ugly to look at as possible? Nearly all of the textures in this track are just so ugly to look at. And if you remember from just a few seconds ago, they used this texture on the path in the volcano too. I mean, come on, is it that hard to find a texture that doesn't look completely awful? Like with Alpine Mountain, there are bats in the cave despite it being broad daylight outside, then the bats fly into the ground because of course they do. And there are also these floating fireballs lining the walls. Okay then. Props for trying, I guess. After you leave the cave, you take a U-turn and... oh, that's awful. That turn is awful. That's on par with the one in Alpine Mountain. How am I supposed to know I need to turn there? I've said it before, and I'll probably say it 100 times again. I shouldn't have to rely on the minimap to tell where I'm supposed to go. If I can't see which direction I need to go for a turn that's right in front of me, add an arrow or something to guide me in the right direction. Don't assume I know where to go. You know, come to think of it, this track actually has a lot in common with Alpine Mountain. Both have paper flat roads and walls, both think putting wigglers in the middle of a path is a good idea, both make you jump into blind turns and assume you know where to go, and both tracks just completely suck. What else is there to say? They suck. Something tells me I'm going to be comparing a lot of tracks with Alpine Mountain in the future. You go here and then the lap's over. Great. 3 out of 10. Sucks. Moving on. Next is Volcanic Skyway 4. This version improves on everything about the first one. For one thing, it doesn't look like complete garbage. And look at this. Arrows that tell you where to go. And there isn't a giant chunk of land anymore. It's all blocked off. Oh my god. Oh wow. It's like they woke up and realized how horrible the last one was. That doesn't explain why there are 2 copies of essentially the same tracks, but still. Now, on the path with the wigglers, the path can get almost entirely blocked off, forcing you to slow down to let the wigglers cross. What is it with these custom track creators and thinking putting an obstacle that blocks off the entire width of the path is a good idea? All it does is slow the race down and annoy everyone. It's not a good choice of enemy placement. I know I suggested adding a wiggler to the path in the loops video, but that's because the green loop had nothing to it at all. Honestly, I'd rather have annoying enemies than no enemies at all, but that doesn't mean those enemies aren't annoying. Put a Goomba there, or a pipe, or a thwomp, or a rock, not a wiggler. Next you go onto a ramp and into an actual volcano. And the walls aren't made of paper anymore. Oh wow, they finally came to their senses. This track doesn't completely suck anymore. Now it just somewhat sucks. Well, I mean, it's not bad, but you know, I still won't go as far as to call it good. I do have a few complaints about it. Yeah, I know I'm never satisfied. One complaint I have is this rainbow cannon right here. It leads to this tediously long straightaway that heads back down toward the ground into the desert section. It's as if they finished making the clouds section, then made the desert section and realized they don't connect, so then they made this to try to patch up the gap. It feels like this part was an afterthought. Look at what happens when I enter the far left of the cannon. I get shot over here, miss the platform, and die. Nice. Also, for a track called Volcanic Skyway, very little of it seems to be dedicated toward the volcano. Especially in Volcanic Skyway 2, that part lasts like barely 3 seconds. And right here, when you land in the desert, look at what happens when you just let yourself fall towards the ground without doing anything. It kills you. It thinks you're in water for whatever reason. Is that why the first one was floating? To avoid any weird collision errors with the water? Oh, okay, I guess that's understandable. My bad. But why doesn't this one do it? This is supposed to be the updated version after all. That's weird. I'll give this one a 4.5 out of 10. It's decent enough. It's fine. Average. A little below average, actually. Not good enough to get a 5, though. Now, I might have just talked about the 2 Volcanic Skyways in CGP, but wait, there's more. Did you know there's another version of this track? Yeah, you probably did. I kind of spoiled it in the Loops review. Toxic Prime and Rosalina Speedruns made a remake of the original Volcanic Skyway, and boy is it bad. It's even worse than the first one. Keep in mind that I'm talking about the beta version here, as that was the only version available when I first wrote this, and I didn't want to rewrite this to be about Huili's or Octane Vinny's updates because I'm lazy. Yeah, I'm a hypocrite, I know, I'm sorry. Credit where credit is due. I actually know where I should turn right here at the start. So that's something. They also used a good texture for the cave floor, the one used in Mushroom Gorge, both things I can't say about the original. Other than that, there aren't any good things I have to say about this one. I mean, just look at it. It's so bland and uninspired. These textures don't go well together at all. Why is there a rainbow section? Just keep the clouds. What? Why? Who thought this was a good idea? We already had 2 Volcanic Skyways. We didn't need another. So, the track looks bad, but maybe, just maybe, it plays good. Mushroom Peaks, for example, is another track that looks pretty bad and outdated, but it still can be a solid track to play if you like the challenge. There's a reason why so many people want it to stay in CGP. I don't particularly agree, but I understand. So, how's the gameplay in this one? I see. Most of it is flat and boring. Just like any other custom track made in the early 2010s, haha. Wait, now hold on one second. Mushroom Peaks was released in 2009, the original Volcanic Skyway was released in 2010, and Volcanic Skyway 4 in 2011. Huh, I guess not all tracks were flat and boring, just most of them. Well, what do you know? That means this track has no excuse. This is just so very boring, and it looks like it could have been made in 2011. So much of the track just stretches out far longer than it needs to be. It's so long, so horribly long. It took me about 1.5 minutes to complete 1 lap on this track. There are 3 laps, so to complete the entire thing, it took me 4.5 minutes. You'd think it'd be more interesting if the track was that long, but no, this is one of the most boring tracks I've played so far. There is nothing on the road that could act as an obstacle. Not even the CPUs can act as enemies. They get stuck here on the rainbow section. It's as if the CPUs couldn't handle the track. They just could not live with themselves being on the track, so they decided to keep killing themselves here. I don't blame them, really. This track is just boring. Boring, boring Volcanic Skyway. Say what you want about the loops. At least they were short. Every one of them, every last one of them, took under 2 minutes to complete. 2. Even Purple Loop, the longest one of them all, lengthwise. The only ones that took over 2 minutes were the White Loop by Dry Bowser and Orange Loop by Toxic Prime and Reed. I'm starting to notice a bit of a pattern between tracks made by Toxic and Rosalina around late 2018 and tracks that are way too long. Okay, for real though, in all seriousness, if I sounded a little too harsh there, then I do apologize. I didn't mean it. Oh, okay, I did, but it's just... I expect so much more out of my custom tracks than this. Look at this. The enemy routes are so bad they don't even work, and it's just so unappealing to look at. It's so ugly. You do realize you can use textures other than the ones given in Mario Kart Wii, right? There's no sticky road in the rainbow section, so every time there's a sudden dip in elevation, you just fly off into the horizon. Wait, I wonder if I can... Oh my god, I can. Wow. There is no fall boundary there. You mean to tell me I can't fall to the ground before dying on the rainbow section here? but I'm able to fall back into the volcano, like straight down into the lava? Come on, Toxic and Rosalina, you're better than this. I'd give this one a 2 out of 10. It's basically the first one, but it looks worse. This one has all the fun and entertaining gameplay of your typical generic circuit track. Overly long turns and straightaways with gameplay no more complex than a 180-degree turn. Granted, the updates do fix a lot of major issues that I just mentioned, like enemy routes and ultra shortcuts or whatever. Wait, ultra shortcuts? I didn't even know there was an ultra shortcut. What? Whatever, the track would still be boring to race on anyway. It would get a 2 out of 10 regardless. Overall, Volcanic Skyway gets a 3 out of 10, rounded down. While not too bad, they do feel like very, very mediocre tracks and have some glaring problems. I wouldn't recommend playing these too much, or at all really. If I had to pick one, I'd obviously go with Volcanic Skyway 4, as it's much better at pretty much every aspect. However, I wouldn't be too devastated if both Volcanic Skyways got removed from the pack. Just saying. And they were. As of December 25th of 2020, a long, long while after writing the script, both Volcanic Skyways were removed from the pack. Oh wow, Merry Christmas to me, am I right? Volcanic Skyway 2 was replaced with Quaking Mad Cliffs, a track that I actually like, and Volcanic Skyway 4 with Sky High Island, which is less impressive, but still enjoyable. And it's not just because of the evolution scattered around the track, although I do really like those. Go figure, a guy who made his online username Lugia likes Pokemon, who would have thought? I guess 2018 me had good taste in tracks, because all 5 of the tracks that I wrote about have either been removed or updated since I first wrote about them. Either that, or they were just easy targets. No, actually, nope, shut up, no, I'm a genius, shut up, I predict the future, shut up. So yeah, the Volcanic Skyways are lacking in pretty much everything, and as for the remake, just don't play it. Just don't. I am aware that this is among the earlier works of both creators, and it's very nice to see that both of them have significantly improved their track-making ability since this. If you haven't already, you should check out their YouTube channels. I doubt you would know of me if you didn't know of them, but, you know, just in case. They make videos. Better than mine, anyway. Back on topic, both creators have worked on much better tracks than this. Don't give this one the time of day. Volcanic Skyway sucks. Now go away. That's it. Go away.